Welcome back to Belmont Bunch. We're talking about 2 consecutive overtime losses this week, but we're in a tight playoff race, so every point counts. And the Islanders, the hockey gods giveth and the hockey gods taketh away. So the Islanders deserve 2 points in this game. They get 1. They deserve no points in that game, and they get 1. So it evened out. But let's open with the Islanders-Rangers round 4. We're going to talk about the Ranger game in this video, and only the Ranger game. Yes, you do see the St. Louis stats over there, but I talked so long about this godforsaken game that is the whole video. And so just keep an eye out for the Blues one, and enjoy my salt. Also above, notice that, that's the record of the Rangers at the time of the game. They won last night, so they are now 35-24-4. They've made up about 10 points during this 9 out of 10 game run that they've won. And the Islanders have been playing around 500 hockey for a very long time now. So the Rangers are right on our heels. We have Carolina right on our heels. And so this big game, getting a point was really important. So let's dive into the game. Rangers trailing in shots, something like 12-2 in the first period. Score through Artemi Panarin, who I will always remember as Matt Barzal's greatest would-be winger, along with Patrick Kane and Zach Parise. And that's about it. And Mark Stone. So not much that can be done here on the goaltending end. And more recently with Varlamov and Greiss this week, they're just getting the goals that we're allowing are plays in which the goalies are not getting a chance really to make a save. And that makes me nervous because a few weeks ago the problem was, the goaltending's giving up goals from everywhere. And now they're playing all right and we're not giving them a chance to win. So that's good. This goal, it's a seam pass by Lindgren that goes past 3 Islanders guarding the slot. Komarov closest to it. Komarov who just swings and misses, and Panarin, the puck's on his stick for like half a second and it's in the back of the net. Can't allow those passes. That's just too much bunching in the middle of the slot. Not enough defensive depth basically. And it's 1-0 Rangers. And that's how the first period would end. Right? Yeah. Yes. Because this game got very eventful later on. Nothing else in the first period goal-wise. Islanders finished the period 15-7 in shots. They had a larger advantage at one point. But I think it goes to show the shot clock doesn't always determine who's playing the better game. But at this point in the game, the Islanders actually were playing fantastic. But as usual, they can't capitalize on their good play. And they can get all the shots in the world, and it won't matter at some points. This Rangers' second goal comes from Greg McKegg, one of my favorite names in hockey, tipping it in front. A shot from the point. Once again, I think this has been a theme on the channel. The Islanders are not good at keeping their crease/slot area clean. And so what happens, but McKegg tips it from 2 inches in front of Varlamov. Again, you're not giving your goalie any chance to make that save. And we outnumbered McKegg. We had 2 guys down low. I think it was Pulock and Nelson. And McKegg, squeezes in behind them and gets a tip in. Gross. That sentence. And there's a little bit of contact with Varlamov. I don't think it's enough for interference. And as I said in my blog, please see below, in my game recap, I said, well, as long as we're consistent, good. That's fine. That's a good goal by McKegg. As long as we're consistent later in the game. Foreshadowing. I don't think you could yell foreshadowing because it's supposed to be subtle. Foreshadowing. Okay, so John Gabriel Pageau, first game as an Islander, first goal. Take that, Sportsnet pundits. It was a beautiful goal because
perfectly calculated rebound from that.
See, Ryan Pulock has realized that he can't keep a shot on net. And so now he's trying to figure out in practice, you'll see it if you sneak a camera into practice like I've been doing. He's been calculating what exact angle he could shoot it off so that it lands right in front of the net for Jean-Gabriel Pageau specifically to tap it into the empty net. He shoots this he missed it just wide by 15 feet. And it goes up off the top of the glass. And as it's bouncing back, the good thing is because how hard Pulak shoots, people are delayed in their reaction to go look at where the puck is. Georgiev is standing looking up. Stahl is standing looking up. And the puck is in Pajot's hand already. And he puts it down and he scores. And he's like, yeah, what a snipe. And it's great. It was a lot of fun. They you could say they deserved some luck like that. They haven't really been the luckiest team in the league this year, not by a far margin. But they get one here, they get a little bit of luck. They had been pressing for it, not so much in the second. The Rangers were the better team in the second, I would say. And then the third, the eventful third period. So we're 2-1 Rangers. Early in the second, we get a collision. Michael Dalcole's got his head down, he's skating in his own zone. Jacob Trouba lines him up and sends him into the Andromeda Galaxy. First thing I'm looking for is possibly Trouba doesn't leave his feet, which is an important part of this, because if he leaves his feet, he might get 5 in a game for that. And now the Islanders are talking about a 5-minute power play where they can score as many times as they want, though it's their power play. So, but anyway, right after that, Pajot drops the gloves and immediately fights Trouba. Pajot gets 2 for instigating. Shut up. The hit on Pajot. So a lot of Ranger fans were saying, but the primary port of contact wasn't the head, so it's not. He's bleeding from his skull.
I'll put in the picture of it. Like, it's all around
he's got a gash on his face. Now I can understand maybe because he fell pretty hard. If the back of his head was bleeding, then I could be like, oh, maybe it was from the impact of that. No, the front of his face is bleeding. Trombone. Trouba, it's a tough one because it is not the dirtiest hit I've ever seen. You could argue that Michael Dalcole needs to keep his head up there. You can't just skate face down the whole way up the ice. Somebody's going to get you.
That's why he's so bad.
He's like, oh my God. It's like in the sports movies when you give the goalie the glasses and all of a sudden he's God. So in this case, Michael Dalcole, keep your head up, but at the same time, Trouba, and the good thing is I don't think he got the elbow into it. He leads with the shoulder. The form is good. For me, it's all about the primary point of contact, which is all face. And I don't think there could be much argument against it, though I know there will still be in the comments. So yeah, Pajot fights him, but Pajot gets 2 for instigating, and he gets the 10-minute game misconduct, and he gets the 5-minute for fighting. Trouba just gets the 5. So now the Islanders so we come out of a very borderline hit from the Rangers with a Rangers power play. Because the NHL is a mysterious place, my friends. So the Islanders do kill the penalty. My God, it would have been bedlam in that arena. That was already basically a war zone if the Rangers had scored on that power play. Don't worry about it. The Rangers scored right after that anyway. Brett Howden. Another deflection from in front where an Islander defenseman lost his net front battle. Where have I seen this before? Oh, the previous goal. So that needs to get better. That's a big problem, and I don't hear the Islanders talk about this in the post-game press conferences. And I don't hear Trotz really say it as much. I mean, probably because if you make it obvious, then every team that already hasn't noticed it, which is probably only Detroit. We know Nashville knows. Like, I know you don't want to tip your hand. So yeah, the Trouba hit. Maybe not a suspension. I think there probably should have been a fine, but under the current CBA, the maximum fine is like $2,000. So I guess it doesn't matter anyway. I guess it doesn't matter. Let's just move on. Later in the third, so we got the Howden goal on a tip-in again. So it's 3-1, and the Islanders actually respond back with a goal that would have been credited, I think, actually to Taves. Taves takes the shot, Anders Lee is in front, the puck ends up in the top corner of the net. One problem, the refs are blind. It's immediately called off. So it's not even like one of those where they go and they review it and they go, oh, under further review, his skates in the crease and he makes contact. My issue with this one, the Islanders would challenge this and be rewarded with a penalty because delay of game if you challenge it and you lose it. My issue with this one, I think it's definitive that Anders Lee is in the top of the crease. So he's inside of the crease area. So that's where a lot of Ranger fans are arguing it is interference. I would combat that physically. No, I'd combat that with the fact that Georgiev makes the contact. Georgiev puts his hands on Lee, and so he initiates the contact, the goalie. Maybe if you're a Ranger fan, you say he has the right to do that because Anders Lee is in his crease. I would then argue that Anders Lee in no way impeded his ability to make the save, and Georgiev's choice to initiate the contact was basically what cost him the goal. I mean, he gets back into his crease a little bit late, and the puck goes top corner off. I think maybe it clipped off one of the Rangers. And I'm not claiming that he interfered with Lee. He has the right to go out and do whatever the hell he wants, as long as he doesn't stick handle past center ice. That's a stupid rule. Goalies should be able to do that. That'd be amazing.
Totally agree.
I think the argument here would have to be that he is choosing to make contact with Lee. Lee is not. He's not infringing on his ability to make that save. And Georgiev just dropped too deep in his net after making contact, and it ends up in. So, and I think the main argument, the final argument that I can make to Ranger fans that this should be a goal is Greg McKegg, his goal, the second goal of the game, he has more contact with Varlamov than Lee has with Georgiev on this one. And I don't think the McKegg one is interference. I also don't think the Lee one is interference. So I think if you're being consistent and you're the refs, both should count. But okay. So yeah, that's my little diatribe about the goaltender interference thing. I think that's more of the league's rule is terrible, maybe, than the ref's judgment.
Unclear, maybe.
Unclear?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a meme from another YouTube channel. Anyway, for the first time in a while, even though everything was kind of going against them, it did feel like they were going to get this done still. Everything going against them, but they were playing such a good game. I mean, they get a power play a few minutes later, and the first 2 minutes, that's the whole power play. The first minute 50 looks like nothing's going to happen, and then Jordan Eberle receives a pass in the middle of the slot. Two Ranger defenders kind of get caught diving at him. He just evades both and backhands it top corner, and all of a sudden, still with 5 minutes left, it's 3-2, and we got ourselves a game again. And Islanders pull the goalie. We saw it. I'm trying to think of close games we had recently where we pulled the goalie. Vegas, we really didn't get much going to the net. I'm sure there's more. So recently, we haven't had much luck with pulling our goalie. I mean, it is kind of a last gasp thing, and I would say most teams are not successful with it. But couple that with our really, really, really ridiculously bad offense, and usually you'd say, oh, there's no chance we get this done. But in this game, we were swarming and we had energy, and I'm speaking as if I'm on the team because I said we a bunch of times. But Devon Toews gets the puck, great shot pass, make sure he keeps eye contact with Georgiev to make it look like it's going to be a shot. Purposely puts it a little bit wide, right to Brock Nelson's stick, and he taps it in. Not great positioning from Georgiev here. I want to say, it wasn't this one. Georgiev did complain also about the Islanders' second goal, the one that actually did count. And then it was just funny because it was one of the Rangers' own players that ran into him. So he was just going to complain about anything that night, I guess. So we're going to overtime now. 10 seconds into overtime, the Islanders are bringing the puck into the Rangers zone, and they do this weird triangle offense that I thought was only a thing in basketball, but apparently we're trying it in hockey now. But the problem is the triangle had a radius of about 3 inches because all the Islanders are just, it was like if you're playing NHL, the video game, and you're just like, the computer has a brain fart and all the players are just in one spot. That was the Islanders on this. Anthony Beauvillier then looking for a drop pass, realizing his teammates are literally on top of him. Drops it to nobody. Artemi Panarin takes it down the ice. All three Islanders, like the three freaking stooges, are like, oh God, here we go. And they just chase him. Nobody covers the two Rangers coming into the slot from behind. Panarin does. Panarin's got eyes in the back of his head. It's hidden by all the hair. And he just throws it backwards, probably not knowing that there's somebody there, but thinking if there's somebody there, game's over. And he's correct. Mika Zibanejad just slaps one past Varlamov. Maybe the one goal that you could put a little bit on Varlamov, but again, they're putting him in a bad spot. Maybe you could say, Varlamov, it's a slap shot. It's coming. It's not like it was super in close too. But you got to also give Zibanejad that he just freaking smoked the puck. So that's the game.
There was a Zibanejad quote that I saw that was like,
Did he say, I hate Belmont Bunch, specifically?
No, he said, I just saw the puck and I wanted to shoot it, so I did.
That's a hockey player quote for you.
Yeah.
It's a hockey player. I got to get the pucks in deep, and then I shoot the puck in the net. So, yeah, the Islanders drop a heartbreaker, but they really, really, really needed that point. So it mitigates the disaster of losing so quickly into overtime, and it mitigates the pain a little bit of the, them having to fight back seemingly against the refs and the Rangers. But got to give them credit for getting the point out of it. I feel like earlier in the season there were points, not during the 17-game point streak, because then the Islanders would have found a way to win this freaking game. But there have been points in the season where the Islanders just were lifeless, and it was good to see some life at least. Oh boy, my standards have dropped. All right. That being said, stay tuned for the Blues video. Originally, this was going to be one video, but I have thoughts on this game that were apparent. So look out for that video, and also at the end of that video, we're going to do our 3 stars of the week. That counts this game. I just talked about this game for too long, so do that. Like and subscribe. Yay.